When my patient knew the very next question and the exact answer to give, we both knew that we had lost something human. Hey, I'm Chrissy, the emotional intelligence nurse, and I'm here sharing stories with you in a video series called The Healing Power of Presence. So, in nursing and in psychiatry, like any other area of nursing, there are assessments, there are standard questions, there's policies and procedures. You can imagine the whole list of things. For psychiatry, there's not just assessments for blood pressure, but for moods, behaviors, thoughts. There's rating scales and questionnaires, and the list goes on. So one day at one of my shifts, I met a patient who revealed the game of it all, and we both knew it. So they weren't new to the unit, and they were only new to me. They're polite and they were agreeable, they were well practiced, they knew exactly how the system worked, they knew how to sit, position themselves, they knew the questions, they knew the rating scales, and they knew the answers. I'd ask my question and they would answer. I would ask my question, and before I could even finish the question, they could answer with the most appropriate answer. So we sat there and we did a few of these questions and started to kind of notice the theme. Suddenly I just stopped, and I stopped because I realized something really important in this moment, that I wasn't talking with them anymore. I was talking through a script. I was talking through my training and the assessments and the questions, and they were doing the same thing. It was a choreography of the survival and the repetition of healthcare systems, and it's where a lot of the same questions are asked day in, day out, and a lot of the real answers are rarely given. I made a really quiet, radical decision in that moment. I gave up the questions and the script and the assessment and shifted my position and made eye contact again and just asked, "Do you ever get tired of this?" They blinked and looked a little startled because I went off script, and that opened up real conversation and that opened up real presence for something to happen in that moment that was quote unquote off script. See, what unfolded next wasn't exactly clinical. It wasn't clinical assessment, but in a way I would argue that it actually was. But it was real and it was human. We talked about the monotony, about the pretending, about the exhaustion of all the explanations and all the perfectly recited questions and answers. And for the first time that day, they got to be a little bit more human and they got to be alive, and so did I. Because right there is the medicine that all of us need. It's not in the scripts and the assessments and the protocols and the routines. It's in the presence. It's not just assessments, but it's connection. It's presence. So that moment really changed me, and it continued to shape my nursing career, which led me into my career as a professional therapist. That moment was potent, and it showed me that my calling in nursing wasn't just a calling, it was a practice. And I just really thought about how the body can show the vital signs, but it is the soul and our presence to be with the soul of another that can hold the real meanings of life. If you found this touching, inspiring, I'm Chrissy, the emotional intelligence nurse, and this is part of my video series, The Healing Power of Presence. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to follow along for more stories just like this one.